Which fictional character would still be alive if other characters had used a bit of common sense? All of the deaths in Jurassic World stem from one scene when no one was using common sense. We can't get a visual on the creature, it must have escaped its enclosure. They'll go in to investigate. Wait, before you enter a death trap with a genetically modified killing machine abomination, why don't we turn on the tracking device to see where it is? Oh yeah. It would have been pretty stupid to have rushed in when you were literally about to activate its chip. Ha, it's still there. Oh, now I see it, looks like it can camouflage. Good thing we didn't release it to go on a killing spree in the park. Now go spend some time with your nephews like you promised, you insensitive bitch. Should we go check via the maintenance entrance or just open that big ass door? I believe they went in through a small man-sized door, and then when trying to escape the worker opened the bigger door. You definitely should not be able to open that door without like two people inserting a key and turning, nuclear missile style. Turns out they actually did spare some expense. Lesson of the first movie, don't mistreat your IT department. Wasn't just the IT department. Hammond and the others behind Jurassic Park ducked up a lot of things, because they continually made dumb choices. The Triceratops, stegosaurs in the book, were getting sick every few weeks because of poisonous plants in their habitats chosen because they looked good. The animals weren't eating from the plants themselves, but were ingesting berries from the plants every few weeks when they would swallow new gizzard stones. Lots of the security systems didn't run off of auxiliary power, particularly the fences. They didn't properly research amphibian DNA before using it to fill in the holes from the degraded dino DNA, otherwise they would have figured out that it let the dinos change sex in certain circumstances, the way frogs could, etc. A common theme is John Hammond talking about how he spared no expense. He very much spared many expenses, but he never spared a single expense on visual effects. His character is the epitome of all pomp and no substance. His whole flea circus monologue was meant to highlight just that. King Kong, in retrospect, maybe New York City wasn't the smartest place to bring a gigantic gorilla. He would have fitted in perfectly in Florida. Would they even have noticed him in Australia? I mean, they already have giant everything else. Just throw him into the Sydney Opera House and feed him. Romeo and Juliet. Yeah, when have teenagers with a boner ever done anything with common sense though? Not them, everyone around them. If they'd just let them make out a bit and then actually had to have a conversation with each other instead of making eyes and thinking about naked activities, it would have sorted itself out. This is what people miss when they say R and J are just teenage morons. That's not the point. Teenagers are supposed to be morons. The problem is, all the adults around them, from their families to their nurses to the apothecary selling them poison, are being even more childish. That's the real tragedy of Romeo and Juliet. And if they had just thought, wait, we hate each other, but with a political alliance through marriage, how ducking powerful would we be in this city? Everyone would have been happy. Which is exactly what the priest that married them in a secret was thinking. But marrying them in secret kind of defeats the whole point. If the priest had tried to marry them in public, then he would have been stopped. If he married them in secret, waited for the consummation, to prevent annulment, and then announced the situation, the families would be faced with a fait accompli. Sirius Black. Come on, Dumbledore. Really? A major part of the Dothraki army sending them all straight ahead in pitch black was, emo, a questionable decision. In the snow, no less. Because we all know how accustomed to fighting in the snow they are. And with weapons that wouldn't work against the whites, that was the original plan. They didn't know that Melisandre would come and light their Erics on fire. They put their infantry in front of the walls. They put their siege weapons in front of the infantry in front of the walls where they will only get one shot off. Waste of time and resources. They sent their cavalry on a head-on charge into the darkness, which is the worst use of cavalry, hoping they would come in contact with the enemy and do something. They just lucked into using flaming swords last minute. They placed their infantry not only outside the walls but in front of the flaming ditch, making choke points that their own soldiers had to run through. List goes on in terms of stupid tactics. NK deserved to win. I'm not exactly a stickler for realistic fantasy battles, but seriously. You don't need to have a degree in military history to point out the brain-dead tactics in that battle. Marvin from Pulp Fiction. Poor guy. Who swings a gun around like that without a safety on? Vincent, because he was a sloppy idiot. Vincent also died because he was a sloppy idiot. Edit, yes, I was and am aware he was on heroin. Still a dummy. I need to take a shit, better leave my gun outside. The MAC-10 was Marcellus's. He didn't take it with him because it was too big for his shoulder holster. The Jedi. If Anakin had some sense. Or if Yoda did. I saw Skyfall the other day. Don't keep the cyber terrorist in a cell completely controlled by computers for some reason, and then plug his computer into that system and allow it to run executables. And don't have a very convenient escape route very close to his cell. This question's practically written for the friends of Derek Zoolander. I'm sad now. Anyone want to get me a orange mocha frappuccino? Holy God. I had completely forgotten about this scene. That is hilarious. It's not like nobody else has lost their friends in a random gasoline fight. Just because we have chiseled abs and stunning features, it doesn't mean that we, too, can't not die in a freak gasoline fight accident. Quicksilver. He has been shown to be faster than bullets. Then get shot. WTF. Such a waste of a fantastic character. Iker, have you seen the OSP video on character deaths? I highly recommend. Everyone in Evil Dead if people would stop reading ominous Latin. Hey look. I found this really creepy old book bound in human skin, written in blood, and full of obviously evil demonic shit. I should read aloud from it. Honestly? I might have done it too. How were they supposed to know they were in a horror movie? Mike from Breaking Bad. Oops, just realized I could have got the names from Lydia. Sorry for killing you, dude. Shut the duck up and let me die in peace. I really loved Mike. Banks killed the role. 299 people would still be alive in the John Wick universe if Yosef Tarasov didn't kill his puppy. The guy is a ducking legend. Of course he is going to hunt you down for killing his puppy. Never piss off the boogeyman. My favorite scene from that movie, calling Leguizamo, asking I hear you hit my son. Why? Because he stole John Wick's car and killed his dog. Oh. Kills me every time, one of the best ways to establish gravitas. To me their ability to establish John Wick as a killing machine without flashbacks or clumsy exposition is one of the most masterful parts of the series. I'm going inside. Well, it's time for my lunch break. #X200B, Wick protecting the one guy he still has respect for even though that guy was working for his enemy. My entire DD party, sorry guys. Every DND party, if we're being honest. Last one I was in, the monk tried to slam dunk a flame skull into a 200-foot deep pit of undead. We just kind of paused the session there and haven't gone back yet. It's like we crashed the DM. All of RDR2's cast would live to the first game if Dutch would understand that a guy you've had for 6 months is less trustworthy than the man you've raised for 20-year edit. Just to clear it up, Micah not being trusted would prevent the Blackwater incident, so the gang wouldn't need to flee. If they didn't flee, Strauss never lends money, therefore, Arthur wouldn't contract TB from the debtor. Wicked Witch of the West. Remember how Superman lives in a house where kryptonite is kept lying around in plain reach of visitors? I can't remember, but it seemed like the witch was just as surprised as everyone else. It also implies that even though she surrounded herself with stank-ass flying monkeys, she has never showered in her life. She probably smelled absolutely awful. In the book by Gregory Maguire, it's explained that she has a lifelong aversion to water and cleans herself with scented oils and scrubs and whatnot instead. Pretty much everyone in LOTR if Elrond just shoved Isildur into the lava. They were the only two there, so no one would have known. Hey Elrond, we saw you and Isildur going towards the mountain, now here you are, but where's Isildur? It was so tragic, you guys, he slipped and fell into lava, there was nothing I could do to save him. He looked at me, said, we have to make sure. Goodbye, my friend. And jumped in. It was The most heroic thing I'd ever seen in all my long years. May we never forget his name and his sacrifice. And as he was falling he said, Elrond, take care of my wife for me. And also, you get to be king.